including Big Daddy Don Garlits, who right now is in the top fuel pit area to give us the lowdown on the Kenny Bernstein car.
The Kenny Bernstein crew are working feverishly to get the Budweiser King ready for the next round against Don the Snake Perdome. They come into this round with a performance disadvantage. We look at the rod bearings that just came out of Kenny's engine, and we see that this bearing is very wide. It's flat, and this is what the bearing should look like. That means that Dale Armstrong cannot put any more nitro, he cannot increase his spark lead, and he cannot step up the blower. This race is going to have to be decided by the driver. It is Kenny who is going to have to take a starting line advantage. What is Kenny doing? He's resting in the lounge. He's getting himself mentally ready for this race. It's going to be interesting.
And you can bet Dale Armstrong, though, will give him just a little bit more clutch off that starting line. All right, the clutches in funny cars every bit as important, and that's where we're going right now. The final four of the Nitro Ground Pounders. You're looking at Jim White and Roland Leong's Hawaiian Punch Dodge Daytona up against a young man who just turned 21 years of age, Del Worsham from Southern California. And of course, Jim White finally broke his maiden, won his first NHRA national event, the second race of this season, the Arizona Nationals. Del Worsham has never won a race, but of course, this is only his fifth one.
Well, it's nice to see these young guys out here in the field doing good, because all the old guys can't keep doing it forever.
No, sir, and I asked Del Worsham when he started the season back at Pomona in February. I said, what's your racing experience? He said, well, I rode BMX bicycles for a couple of years. Few have ever started their career with a Nitro funny car. And in round number 2, he spoiled the comeback hopes of this guy, Al Segrini, in the brand new Petosa Brothers car. Segrini, the number 2 qualifier at 5:29. Now it's Del up against Jim White, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Jim owns a water filtration company and drives a funny car, and drove it well in round 2 when he defeated the Otter Pops car driven by Ed McCullough, who smoked the tires. McCullough been struggling a bit. Well, let's go back to this pair at hand, okay? The Hawaiian Punch car, Jim White, far lane, near lane, unsponsored, 21-year-old Del Worsham. His father, Chuck Worsham, is the moving force behind this car. He is the crew chief. Worsham made it to the Final Four earlier this year in Arizona when he red-lighted at this point in competition. Not today. Whoa, what an upset. White got very close to the center line. Del Worsham goes into a final round. 5:44, 2:69. White at a 5:56. May have gotten off the throttle a bit, Don Garlits.
Well, Jim White took a definite starting line advantage. You can see it. He leaves the starting line almost a full 1/10 of a second ahead of Worsham. But the power falls off on the Hawaiian car, and Worsham begins to make up the difference in the middle of the course. And you were right, Steve. Look how close Jim White gets to the center line. It's a good possibility that he had to get off the throttle right then, and that's all that Del Worsham needed to win the race.
You know, Del, the only other time in your brief career you were in the semifinals was at Phoenix, and you red-lighted, as I remember. Was that weighing on you at all?
Oh, yeah. It's been bothering me ever since. What did we run?
5:44. He might have been in front of you a bit there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I seen him till about half track, and then he went away, and then right in the lights he came back up, and I wasn't sure if we won or not.
First final round, gotta feel great.
Yeah, it feels unbelievable. I'd like to thank everybody back there that helped us. Boy, we had a thrash.
Did you really? But you got it accomplished. That's the important thing.
Well, he's happy, and so is the crew. Anybody would be. Put out a very strong car, the Hawaiian.
Well, there's the strongest car of them all so far in this, what started out as a 16-car field. John Force, the number 1 qualifier, is crew chief Austin Coyle, hooking up that second magneto and also adjusting the barrel valve on the fuel injection, Don.
Well, you don't see that very much. Usually they just lift the body up, jerk that mag wire off, and put that car on 2 magnetos. But he made some sort of a fuel adjustment right there.
And he made a sign to John Force everything was okay. Well, it better be okay, because this is Mark Oswald in the Jeff and Susan Bernstein Racing Pontiac-bodied funny car that won the Gator Nationals, the last event on the trail. Mark Oswald, of course, formerly drove so many years for the Candies and Hughes team, lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. Mark had to hole shot this man, Tom Hoover, in the Scotch-colored film car. Hoover actually ran quicker than Oswald. No one so far has run quicker here at Atlanta than John Forrest, qualified number 1 at a 5:22. And he put away Mike Dunn in round number 1, who had a very rare red light. In fact, he wasted a 5:36 elapsed time.
We're on board with John Force, and I'll tell you, he has been running like a bracket car today. 5:31, 5:32. Unbelievable. And he qualified #1 at this event.
That's right, but they backed off a little bit to make sure they didn't smoke the tires. Austin Coyle running a very smart race with the Castro GTX Oldsmobile. What a picture this is. You're about to feel 5 Gs off the starting line if you have a great imagination. Look out the window. Oswald to the right. What an upset. Where did that number come from? Low elapsed time of the entire event for funny cars. 5:21 as he stuns John Force. He runs a 5:31, probably exactly the number he wanted.
Probably not any more surprised than Oswald. That puts Dale Worsham against Mark Oswald in the funny car final. Oswald has the lane choice. Meanwhile, we see Gene Snow coming to the line for the final 4. He will be facing Corey McClenathan. Meanwhile, Steve is with Mark at the far end.
Well, Mark Oswald shocks John Force with low elapsed time of the event at 5:21.
We knew we could take a lot more. We figured it'd make a little bit better run, and we just went for it.
That doesn't surprise you at all?
No, this car's run good. You know, it's run 25 before, and, you know, we figured it could step up. It's ideal conditions.
What about the final round? Do you dare step it up anymore?
Well, I don't know if we'll need to do that. We'll take it back and look at it and see what things look like.
Boy, is he calm and cool or what?
Surely after a 5:21 low ET at a meet, he's got
adjustments. The clutch has become as important in these pro stock cars as it is in a dragster or a funny car. It wasn't always that way. Glidden will face off with Jerry Ekman. Let's go to Don Garlitz in the Warren Johnson pit.
Earlier during the opening of the show, when I spoke with Warren Johnson, he said he had a couple of tricks that he could use to step the performance up on this blue car. He had run a 728. Well, he came back in the next round, and he only ran 728 again. His competitor, Darrell Alderman, ran 726. He faces him in the next round. It's time for Warren Johnson to reach down into that bag of tricks and get something.
Just like every fan in the place, I am looking forward to that matchup. Well, there's Colleen McClenathan, and she is breaking with her tradition here today. She didn't blow any kisses to Buster Couch. I think if you got something working for you, Don, you stay with it, you know?
Could be a disaster.
Her brother faces off with Gene Snow, the farthest he has been in national event competition. I'm talking about Corey now from California. The Snowman, as we've said so many times, you never know what he's going to do. He had a big wheel stand against D'Amato. He put that plate on there as you described.
And I talked to him earlier. He is very concerned about spinning the wheels. He's got a lot of bottom end power in this car.
These cars have such tremendous horsepower. It's a wonder they can harness it at all. Great race. And it is Gene Snow. Should have blown Buster a kiss, kid. It is Snow with a hole shot. His 5:10 beats Corey McClenathan's 5.08. The 53-year-old was up to the youngster.
Well, it looks to me like the old man gave the kid a driving lesson right there on the starting line. And I'll tell you what, he needed it, because 5:08 will beat a 5:10 with a nice even start. But it wasn't an even start. Gene took a starting line advantage, and even though Corey moved ahead just a little bit momentarily in the middle of the race, Gene Snow's car picked it up at the end and won the race by just a very slight margin.
Well, that was one for all of us old guys. Gene Snow, you hole-shotted the kid.
Well, I got to have a little luck. No, really, I'm lucky to be here. The first two with the things that happened, the red light by Motto and so forth, we're proud to be here. We actually ran probably fairly good that time.
Indeed, you did. He appeared to be ahead of you at one point in the racetrack.
He was. I maybe got off the line, like you said, a little bit ahead of him. He pulled back around maybe about 10 feet. I said, holy cow, my car never pulls in high gear, and all of a sudden it did hit, so it was great.
That's the kind of races we all enjoy, even the participants.
Okay, thank you.
You. Who will we race in the final?
Well, it'll either be Don Perdome or this man, Kenny Bernstein, driving the Budweiser King.
You know, they may not show it, but I think both these drivers are pumped. The first time they've ever raced in Top Fuel dragsters side by side. Bernstein has won 2 events this year. Perdome has had the opportunity to win 2. He was in 2 final rounds, but failed to capitalize on the opportunities. He needs to get by Bernstein here to stop Bernstein from earning more Winston points and put a few in his column. Dale Armstrong walks away. He looks concerned.
Well, Perdome has the performance advantage. He comes in here with a 4-second run against Kenny.
Absolutely. They're staged and ready. This could be a classic. Identical, brilliant reaction times. Perdome appeared to have Bernstein covered, but no, something goes wrong with his car. Bernstein surges ahead, 5:03 to a losing 5:14. Prudhomme's speed pulls up to 226 miles per hour, and that tells you that it quit early, Don.
One of the most beautiful starts in Top Fuel racing I have ever seen. These guys were wired. A .437 for both drivers, right to the thousandths of a second on reaction time. It appeared that Don Prudhomme was ahead at half track and possibly going for another 4-second run when the blower belt shred, allowing Kenny to take the win.
And it puts Kenny Bernstein into the final round of the Southern Nationals. He'll face off with Gene Snell, and Bernstein will have the lane choice. Maybe not a big advantage. They appear to be quite equal. Stay with us. Pro Stock Final Four next.